So, welcome everybody. I took a little bit longer because I had to. I will put so many things out there today that it will be very, 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 very interesting. Okay, so make sure to stay tuned, and I'm definitely looking forward that to tell you everything what's going on. So I really appreciate that you tuned in. Make sure to thumb up this live stream. This would be highly appreciated. And guys, if you're new to this channel, make sure to subscribe. That would be always amazing. So I believe, and I will dedicate a lot of time next week to this stock because it's fun. Second, I will build a small funny position into it. And third, I believe that it could be quite tremendous what we see here, okay? Let me first explain what is happening, all right? So Trump, yes, President Trump decided to create his own social media, okay? He is really. Oh, and by the way, guys, let me know in the comments where you are watching from. That's always quite interesting. So Trump announced a social media platform and a SPAC deal. Okay, so it was that on Wednesday, the 20th of October, in the night, 10 p.m. Eastern daytime. They announced that Trump is creating his own media company, okay? And it will be basically a social media. By the way, speaking about social media, make also sure to follow me on Instagram, Wolf of Dubai Danny. He will build something very similar, basically a copycat of Twitter, okay, and the whole thing will be called Truth Social, and the instead of tweets they will call it Truth, and you can instead of retweeting you can retruth it, okay. So it's kind of still a little bit funny if you hear about that, but in the end of the day it's a huge success apparently, right? Because after this announcement, as you can see, the company that actually will merge, which is basically Trump Media and Technology Group (TMTG), and merger with Digital World Acquisition Group. Okay, the transaction values TMTG at up to 1.7 billion, according to an announcement tweeted out by spokesman Liz Harrington. Now, this 1.7 billion valuation is now way more, almost close at highest points to 20 billion. And if you think about it, if there is about maybe 30 or 70 or more, no, I think it was, we will get to that in more detail, but there's, let's say, 70 million really Trump supporters. Alone those will obviously download the app and will be active users on the platform, plus around the world. And people will try to build their own let's say new accounts on there. And I think it could be a big deal, okay? Because not only they are building a kind of Twitter, they will be also build a kind of network, channel, like something like a streaming, which will, go against Disney Plus, against Netflix. So this is quite interesting because then you can see the big thing. And with this kind of money that they are gathering there, they could easily build a nice team, maybe buy a company or two, and then rebrand it to the Trump game. And I think that it could go a lot higher, as we know from other companies. And it seems like this is the next GameStop stock. So everybody was thinking, okay, what is the next GameStop stock? And it seems to be now DWAC. Because if you're looking into the company, it's absolutely insane. Okay, in just a matter of 5 days, the stock sorry, 2 days. So here, as you see, on the 20th, it was announced, right? On the 21st, the stock raised already more than 40%, then 100% within a couple of hours, and then went up to from $10 to about $131, okay? And now is the question, can DWAC grow more? And can it be the next big thing? Can it go to $500 and 5x from here? Well, there's a couple of questions, okay? First of all, there was just the announcement. The announcement was the first trigger, okay? And you see towards the end of the week, obviously, the stock lost from about the highs of 166. I think intraday was 178. There was a sell-off until around 100, okay, 93. So the question is, can we 5x from here, which would give the company a valuation of about $100 billion? Well, that would be crazy, but nothing is impossible. And what is the big current, how you see it, indicator or a kind of attribute to that is obviously Reddit, right? Reddit and its big Reddit group, Wall Street Bets, actually there it is the most discussed stock, okay? And there is a lot of positive sentiment, there is lots of neutral sentiment, and you see by far it's the most discussed stock on the whole platform, okay? So that's always an interesting fact. And I actually tweeted also where you should follow me also maybe. So this was a tweet that I posted 27 minutes ago. If you are having a bad day, remember there was someone who spent 221 million on DWAC at the highest price of 175 last week. So he's almost down 50%, guys. After hours, the price Friday was $80 per share. Okay, so that's pretty crazy to me. And then I posted also that you might have FOMO into the stock as well. Stock up 120. Damn, I missed it. Stock up 239. Tanking soon. Glad I didn't FOMO. Stock up 350%. Can't wait to see the Lost Porn. Stock up 400%. Fuck it, I'm all in. YOLO at 175. Well, that happened many times, surely. This is a meme that I found, obviously, on Wall Street Bets. And I also put it out the most top catalysts for the stocks, in my personal opinion, okay? So here you have, for example, by the way, I can actually pin that comment because it's one of an interesting comment, apparently. Where was it? Here we go. So WAC will be easiest, the most talked about meme stock, in my personal opinion, on Wall Street Bet next week. And my top catalysts are first the viral effect of Wall Street Bets, right? It's going way beyond. Then there could be a short squeeze because the short interest is building up as we speak, obviously. There could be a kind of Trump appearance, right? Because as of now, it was like an announcement, a PR that was sent out, right, to news stations and so on. But now it could be that he can come out and talk about, the plans, the vision, and so on and so forth. Then we will talk about that also in the stream, that it has actually similar chart pattern to GameStop, okay? GameStop did something very similar, and we will talk about that in a second. And there's also news from the company, or there could be news from the company of any significant announcements, right? Like maybe team acquisitions, very smart people coming to that. And guys, if you think about it, there could be really some big guys joining the whole thing, okay? Imagine, for example, they are getting some really hot talent into that, really big influencers joining that exclusively, and so on and so forth. Because once they are launching on the, once they're doing the DSPAC, they will have more than $1 billion in the bank. And with that, they can do a lot of things. Okay, so interesting thing. And I think this is the best top catalyst about the stock itself. Okay, let's have a look. Actually, short interest DWAC. Let's have a look. If we will find something. Here we go. Yeah. Okay, let us see. Okay, I just want to find some. Some good data here. It's always not that easy to find the short interest because most of the data comes always a little bit later. Let us see. Okay, maybe there's not real data available for that. If someone have it, then let me know in the comments. Then we can get to it by the next time. Anyway, there's also a slideshow. I don't know if Trump truth slide. Let's have a look if we can find that. That is quite interesting. It shows a little bit of the, let us have a look, visit. Okay, so basically, there is an outstanding or a publicly available slideshow of the Trump media and the TMTG, and I think I found it here. So there is basically, they are advertising themselves as they are too big to be cancelled. They want to be really big. They want to use the huge viral effect of Trump, right? And here, for example, they are saying that galvanizing a conservative media universe, they want to create something really big, something really new, with the truth, kind of Twitter, right? They want to basically battle against Hulu, against Disney Plus, against Netflix. Make some boxing, make some Trump appearances, interviews, and so on and so forth. And here it says, moreover, Netflix TMTG Plus is going to be an on-demand streaming service that promises to serve up all the non-woke entertainment censored everywhere else. Like what exactly? Well, from the visuals, this content seems to be consistent of boxing and sumo wrestling. Does that mean we've all been red-pilled by the Olympics? And here you can see his success. you know, with Miss Universe or whatsoever, you know, whatever Trump was, let's say, successful with, right? So I think that this could be something very big, right? So I think that you can be prepared for really, you know, quite interesting. Trying to find some more slides here. Let us have a look. Yeah, so again, he's just mentioned that there's a pitch deck around where he claims he's going to build rivals to CNN, Disney Plus, and Netflix. So it's kind of interesting. It's not only me, but actually we can see a very, very big interest into that. And I also now want to go into the chart. Okay, what's comparable to let's say to GME, so to Gamestop, right? And you can see the following. So what happened here in the last couple of days with DWAC, Digital World Acquisition Corporation, you can see that they launched, okay, basically this was the announcement, and the stock went from $10, which is the usual IPO price, then to the highest point on the 21st at 43, and then from 43 to 175. And as I showed, right, there was really something that was quite interesting, because there's huge amount of money that went into this company, and it could be a big thing. So here you can see then it kind of crashed up to around 69, and then it picked up there a little bit up to 93 or 94 was the closing price. Now, if we are going into the chart of GameStop, okay, and this is quite interesting. As you can see here, what happened with GameStop was the stock was for a very long time at $4, $5, $6, $7, then $10, then slowly have risen, and then it went up to, I think, intraday it was even 500, right? So the stock basically 50x from about $10, which was insane. Then it crashed, okay? So from the first hype, it crashed to about $40 with the all halted stock, Robinhood, and the hedge funds integrated and so on. So you can see here from about 400 or 500 intraday up to $50 or less than $50, and then something happened. Then it took off again from about, and this took, wait, let's just have a look, from $350 on the 27th of January till $40. It took about what is it, 27 first, about 20 something days. Okay, then it built up from 50 to about $260, which was quite interesting in my personal view. And then it's bounced back again to about the 50 moving average at 120, and then back up. So it's quite of interesting, because you see the waves, right? And now it's basically somewhere around 100 and what is it? 166, right? So that's quite interesting. So I think we could have seen the first wave. Either it was this one, okay? So maybe the first wave that we have seen was from about 20 to about 30 or 40, and then basically up to 70. Maybe this was the first wave that we have seen, or we have seen this one, okay? Nevertheless, once it goes down significantly, we could expect a second wave. So what I'm trying to say here is that we might have seen the first bump and going much higher, right, next week, or we are seeing, a downwards price, maybe somewhere around 40, because here you can see that this was a price that this was hold for a couple of hours. Unfortunately, you don't have so much time frame that you can look up, but you see that it could go down and then it could go back up and then stay higher. Okay, and for an upcoming company that has so much branding and viral effect, this could be going really interesting, and we can say, wow, this is big, right? This could be really, really big once it's getting started. So I'm quite interested into that. There's also one more thing I wanted to talk about. There is obviously also one of my favorite podcasts that talked about the DWAC phenomena also, and let's have a look what those billionaires and multimillionaires with which I very envy saying about the new Trump social media. And to see that, we will actually dive directly in and hear and listen to those guys.
First up in SPAC land, Donald Trump has done a SPAC, and it's for his Trump Media and Technology Group. And he's launching an app called Truth Social, which you can preload, I guess, in the App Store. You're allowed to pre-order stuff now. I thought that was kind of an interesting feature. The company will merge with the SPAC called Digital World Acquisition Corporation, ticker symbol currently DWAC. It's led by somebody named Patrick Orlando, who is a Florida-based investment manager. I'm not making that up. I don't know if Orlando is actually his name. He founded a sugar trading business and built 2 energy distribution businesses, allegedly or supposedly. Freeberg said maybe he's a real estate guy. Who knows? The stock peaked at $157 a share this morning, Friday morning.
So the SPAC started at $10.
It started at 10, so that's 16x before dropping back down to 100. It's become a bit of a meme stock on Wall Street Bets. Trading was halted. It puts this at something in the range of well over a $10 billion market cap. And there is literally no technology, no team, and a bunch of technologists looked at the source code just by doing view source, I think, on the web pages. And there's an open source project, I think, called Mastodon or Masterton. I don't know. I think it's Mastodon. That they seem to have just copied the code from. It's like a distributed version of Twitter, and it seems they just cut and pasted the code and didn't even change the license, like the GPL license where you're supposed to give credit to who wrote the code. So no business, no team, no IP, no users, no money, no office, no nothing. It's basically
it's an NFT. This is an NFT.
It's an NFT.
And basically,
it's an exchange-traded NFT. It's an NFT of Donald Trump.
The value of this thing is like closer to Donald Trump is closer to 20 billion because there's a 1.7 billion dollar value if they hit certain stock prices, according to the press release they put out. But there's not a good SEC filing on it. So at 1.7, that means he got 170 million shares, which are now worth, let's say, at $157 a share. Donald Trump has effectively $20+ billion.
Oh, so he's finally a billionaire?
And he's finally a billionaire of equity value in his stake in this thing.
He's actually a billionaire.
And I think this is the absolute penultimate NFT. It is traded against a caricature that is a one of a kind, completely rare. This is all of his quote unquote media IP is going to be licensed into this SPAC. And so if you want to own a piece of it, this is the way to own it. And people are trading it like an index on the Donald Trump character.
It's an index on that. I think it's an index on the right. I think it's an index on an alternative to Fox News.
To traditional media?
The traditional media. It's a huge fuck you to actually the mainstream media. I think this is going
to Twitter?
Oh my God, it's going to tilt the hell out of the folks that write at the New York Times. Did you see
Jack Dorsey's tweet, by the way?
No.
I'll put it in the chat, but he kind of he made a comment on it after there was a screenshot.
I mean, let's be honest, it's a grift. I mean, this is the ultimate peak grift in the peak bubble of our lifetime. Period.
I think it's a vote. I mean, like Peter Thiel said yesterday, Bitcoin is a vote against the establishment. This is a vote against the establishment.
All right. What are the chances that an actual app launches SACs? And when would that actually happen? When can this crew of dipshits actually write a line of code and actually release a product? You know how hard it is to release product.
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, what they're saying is that they're going to launch a new social network, I guess Twitter style, called Truth Social. And the primary interface will consist of a feed of short posts from users you follow. Sounds familiar. However, these posts will be called truths instead of tweets, and reshares will be known as retruths.
Wow, so original.
So that's what's coming. And the slide deck that's available on the company's website lists Twitter, Facebook, Netflix, Disney Plus, CNN, iHeartMedia, Google Cloud, and Amazon Web Services as some of TMTG's current and future competitors. So basically, Trump is proposing an alternative to all the traditional media and social networks that have basically banned him. But I do think that the trading here does represent, there is, I think, a groundswell for social media platforms that are not controlled by big tech. And, Trump has 70 million voters. Of those, probably 30 to 40 million, you would say, would be fans of his on social media. He's been banned from Twitter and Facebook, and this is his response. He's going to create his own platform. I don't know whether it'll ultimately be successful, but I think what you're seeing here is the demand for alternatives to, censorious platforms that are controlled by big tech.
So if he has 30 million real fans, Chamath, what number of them would download the app and participate in the first year?
He had 90 million. He had 90 million followers on Twitter, J. Cal,
which doesn't count.
But that's half of the Twitter registered accounts.
I know, we had 70 million people vote for him. So what are the real fans, not just Republicans who don't want Hillary?
I don't think that's the way to think about this. I would view this as differently than this. What's insane is you have this entity here, which is essentially a cash shell that's now basically, $300 odd million of cash, plus what looks like 18 or 19 billion dollars of brand value, like of intangible goodwill. And the sum total of that is what the total market cap of this thing is. So if it is 18 billion, then that's what it is. What this allows them to do, and this is where it kind of gets interesting, is these guys, what it shows me is they could come back and actually raise an enormous amount of money. They could issue, a secondary stock sale. They could do a convert. They could raise billions of dollars because the demand is there. And then with those billions of dollars, they could actually do something really meaningful. They could go and acquire an existing app, Jason. They could acquire engineers in a product that already exists. They could
maybe do an acquire, yeah.
They could acquire a traditional broadcast outlet and give Trump, a way to short circuit his launch of a Fox competitor. So I actually think this is a huge vote. I think David's right. It's a vote against censorship. It's a vote for Trump. It's a vote for the right. It's a vote for alternative voices. And as a result, I think a lot of folks in the mainstream who have Trump derangement syndrome are now going to be, reawoken and in complete full tilt for a while.
Yeah, it's pretty tilty. TMTG Plus will be, it's terrible branding, but the TMTG Plus is going to be there. Look at this,
you're already tilted.
I'm not tilted. I mean, I think the whole thing's just a super grift. I don't think they'll ever get a product out the door. And if they do, I think they get to maybe 5-10 million users.
They're going to raise
enough.
JCal, they've got a $20 billion market cap. They could do whatever the hell they want. I think
it's all people just manipulating the stock like Gamestop.
They could, like Chamath said, they could turn that into cash.
We'll see. I mean, they could turn a billion of it. I don't think they can get to 20 billion.
Trump today, in one day, is worth more than 2 times the New York Times. Can you imagine what's going on in the New York Times right now?
Yeah.
And that's just brand.
Well, let's see. I mean, not all these SPACs stay at $150 a share,
So Jake, I think you're right that people outside the tech industry really underestimate how hard it is to build technology products that are any good, that have a good UI, they're delightful to users. It does require real talent. And if you're not sort of from the industry, you don't even know what kind of talent you need to hire. However, I think Chamath has a really good point that with this kind of market cap, they could acquire their way to a portfolio of assets. Like, for example, Rumble right now has become the alternative to YouTube among not just conservatives, but anyone who's been deplatformed. There's a lot of leftists now.
There's locals.com that you invested in.
Yes, exactly. I invested in Locals, which is Dave Rubin's thing. So, but just to take Rumble for a second, because it's kind of the YouTube competitor, they've got something like 30 million users plus. It's a pretty big and growing audience. But there is Locals. There are other assets. And you could, and I think the last valuation of Rumble, I think it was announced when Peter Thiel actually invested, I think it was around a $500 million valuation. Even if you paid a gigantic premium to that, I mean, if your market cap's 20 billion, you could spend 2 billion on that. You could spend 5 billion on that.
Yeah.
You know?
And so, by the way, sorry, just to dispel this idea, you don't need good UI if you have the right feature set. And Reddit is the perfect example where they've always been on the side of free speech. And they've always been on the side of allowing people to vocalize and pursue their own passions, even if some of those things were really, for the mainstream, beyond the pale. Their UI is terrible, but they have thrived because that single feature dominates any desire for elegant UI. And so I think what you're going to find over this next iteration of these apps is how valuable free speech is. And there are enough examples, whether it's Rumble or Reddit or others, that show you that the ability to not be censored dominates.
4chan, Discord, they're all very similar.
It's gonna tweak. Oh my God.
Here's
the
one
folks
thing
on
I
the
will say
left
in their
are on
defense.
super
They did figure out how to do data analysis and marketing during his 2016 campaign. And they did get that guy Pascal or whatever. And they figured out Cambridge Analytica. So they did figure out how to get some tech people, right, Sachs, to
By the way, sorry, can I just say one thing? The other super tilty thing is people will want to fade this trade, and they're going to be silent. They're going to be silently wishing for this thing to crater. And I think there's going to be a lot of profit taking on this because I think it's very speculative. But I think we will all be shocked at the actual closing enterprise value when this thing de-SPACs, because it will de-SPAC, and we're all going to kind of scratch our heads thinking, how did we not see this? I mean, I didn't see this. I would have never.
And there's going to be at least $1 billion of cash available when they do their secondary. At least. I mean, they can do whatever they want.
Yeah.
I think this is a nice, great insight. They talked about a couple of things. Only the brand value so far, because there's nothing else, right? There's the intellectual property of branding, or maybe some Trump content, but what big content there is out there on Trump? There's a couple of shows, TV shows, and so on. But I feel like this is the number one. Second, they talk about, okay, it's hard to build a product, right? I think here the really big question will not be about a technical product. Yes, everything need to work very well. Yes, but they don't need to be so much innovative on stuff, right? They just need to be innovative on content. So if they bring the right people together that will be exclusively on the Truth Social, this could be huge, guys, okay? I believe that this could be absolutely freaking huge, all right? I think there's actually a big way that there's so many chances. They could create new Trump shows. They can create its new, let's say, for monetization, a new cryptocurrency, the truth coin, right? Whatever there is. And there could be also a lot of things that we don't think about yet could come as a surprise, and surprises are really good. Remember when there was like the news about GameStop, raising money and so on. They can also raise money. They can, issue stocks and have a lot of cash, and then basically, buy a certain type of content, a certain type of exclusive people on the platform, and so on and so on. So it kind of really interesting what can come out of that. So I think the product itself will, you can basically build a copycat of Twitter. It's not about the technology. It's not about that it should work good. Just need to work okay. Nothing innovative, okay? But there's open source things but there must be the content. There are people who want to read the tweets. Imagine the people that are actually will need to see what Trump is up to, what he's doing, what he's tweeting, what is his view about things. This is viral, guys. Remember, Trump Twitter, and we can go here to Google Trends, was really something that was all over the news all the time. So imagine once the platform is online, when he tweets or he started to tweet or sent his truths out, then he basically this will be shown in CNBC and other platforms. And I think this is really, really interesting. So you should really stay connected, subscribe to this channel, guys. And I really appreciate a thumb up, because I will talk a little bit extensively about this thing. And if you are looking, for example, for Trump Twitter, and just to show you the media power here, you can see here that over, let's say, the last 5 years, as he became president, right, this thing just blow up, in 2020. Also with the all health crisis and so on, when he tweeted a lot. So, it could be quite interesting, very interesting in my personal opinion. And if we are looking for DWAC, then you actually will see that this is crazy that people are actually exponentially looking for that. So it will be interesting, very, very interesting. And as they said, they can raise money, they can do now a lot of things. This is just the brand value that is now about $20 billion, which is crazy, right? But it is what it is, right? This is the stock market. This is the new way. And let's have a look, by the way, just to conclude that, let's go also into the Wall Street bet. So I just went inside already, and here, for example, they are talking, obviously there's some memes that I have borrowed from my Twitter, but here you can see someone posted $66,000 winnings because he bought at $10.48. That's quite interesting. You see all of that, interesting gains as well. Here you can see someone had, what is that? Can I zoom in? Someone gained someone gained $543,000 apparently. This is total crazy to me, and this is the nice gains that people have here. Then there is stock options launching as well, and I believe, and this is what I will conclude this stream, what I will do next week, I actually will put a little bit money into this company, just for fun. And breaking the ape statue has arrived in Wall Street. Guys, if there's an ape statue next to Wall Street Bull, guys, then this is the time of meme stocks, okay? This is the time of stocks like DWAC, guys. Yeah, and you can see that there is so much about this company, right? There's people posting their losses as well. Me and my cert is I eat ramen every day so I can buy the dips. Exactly. So as you can see, a lot of interesting things are happening. Yeah, what I will do next week, I want to show you something because there are some options going live. I think you can purchase up to $150 out of the money calls starting on Monday, according to my platform here, Interactive Brokers. Let me see if I can show it here to you real quick. So here you can see there's a lot of, actually I can zoom in. No, that's not a good view. So here you can see there is some kind of options that you can purchase starting Monday, and the biggest out of money is $150. So what I will do, I will put maybe $1,000, $1,500 just for fun into maybe December 21 or March 2022 call options, and the highest I can find. So that would be basically the $150 call option. Okay, so this one here, I hope you can see that the DWAC March 2022 18th 150 call option, because it could be that we see the DWAC going up already in a week, in 2 weeks, the whole end of the months and end of the year rally overall stock market could help this massive gains. And it's very, very speculative. I can imagine I will lose all the money, but it could be also that I 10x the money. So it will be quite interesting. So stay tuned. I will post here all the gains and losses, obviously. And I hope that, it's quite interesting. If you just tuned in like DRK, then just watch the stream from the beginning. It was a lot of information, guys, a lot to digest. Hope you have a fantastic Saturday, and best to Singapore, to Denmark, to Texas, to Russia, to US, to Florida, and to Atlanta. And thank you very much for tuning in, and leave me a like, a subscription if you want to be informed about the next GameStop stock. And with that said, have a fantastic day, and follow me on Instagram, guys. I'm posting a lot of things on Instagram, and don't forget to follow me also on Twitter. Okay, Wolf _ and then investing. And then you will have all the information about DWAC and what will happen and so on. So stay tuned, and don't forget that, it seems that the Truth Social, DWAC, and all the media company is the next GameStop, or the bigger and better GameStop, in my personal opinion. So it will be interesting. It will be fantastic. Valuation doesn't count that much in this new world of stonks and stonks. So thank you.